Hello, everyone. It is me, Ragewood, and I am back. Not that I ever left, but I'm back with another video for you guys today on the Stage 5 domains this time round. So we looked at Stage 3 previously. We're now going to jump into the Stage 5s. Now, the tactics are going to be very much the same. However, now at this stage of the game, when you reach level 28, you can get 5-star heroes, as you can see here. Now we're jumping into the Tempest domain first, and I've got a few things covered here, so we'll just go through it. So obviously I have my tank. Ironically, the best legendary gear I was able to craft was defensive pieces. This obviously could be used anywhere, but it's got defense, so it helps him out. Defense and HP, defense. So I've really sort of given Theodomir a little bit of kick. Alright, but importantly, he has a taunt, so some control to get rid of the damage reduction buff that the Tempest Drakes have. We then have Finia, mainly because she pairs very nicely with Theodomir, but secondly, she brings our second piece of control to get rid of the, again, damage reduction buffs on the whelps. Then I've got Cinerel, because he's awesome. I love Cinerel, he's great. But mainly he is here for the attack down that he brings on a fairly consistent chance here. So he's got a 75% chance of inflicting on them for 10 seconds, and it can't be resisted. And this is when he hits someone with their skill. So especially on a single target boss, less so when the whelps are up, but when it's just the boss, he's going to have attack down very consistently. Also provides us some heals. Then we've got our two damage dealers at the back here. We have Lusenia in the Witch's Remains, which we've got to level 20. And then we have Oster. Not perfect gear on anyone yet, really. I wouldn't put the Enlightenment set on him, nor would I have broken sets just here, but I'm working with what I've got right now. I haven't really farmed any gear dungeons. I can do stage 9 on a couple of them now, and I'll do another video on that shortly. But for now, we're just going to take at the domain. So this is just going to let it play through full auto and sort of talk about domains. So, as we all know, very soon we're going to have the otherworld bosses. It will be upon us before we know it, alright? And we're not at day 30 yet, so we're not getting the double gear drops. And you've probably seen loads of content creators with more time and better accounts than I do talking about how poor the rates are. Now, you can spend all of your time and energy in there trying to get those mythic pieces and such, but it's just not worth it for me right now. I am simply farming up my crystals and my energy or XP pots from Goblin. That's where I'm channeling my focus right now. And it's worked out for me. I've got, I think, 13, 14 heroes that are 5-star now, and I was able to do that as soon as we were able to when we hit rank 28 yesterday. So I'm just going to slow it down. Okay, so we get to the ultimate part. The whelp spawn, and you'll notice that Oster will just hit like a wet noodle when he comes to it, because they've got this damage reduction up, but then Finia, not built for damage, chunks them, and that's because the control or the blind took off a stack of the damage reduction. Okay, and then Theodomir will use his ult to place some more control and clear them off. And by this point, Cinerel's ability will go off, chunking the boss, and then Oster will finish him off. And that is stage 5 of Tempest for me. So, as you can see, I've clearly focused on Ice. Ice is my Goblin team. I've got Ice Blast as my Vortex team, and then Fire Radiant is like my subsidiary, as it were, like my second one. Theodomir, I got to level 100, mainly just for the arena, just so I've got level 100 characters. And say everyone else is just 5-star. So, I'm going to pause here now whilst we jump into the Flame Domain next. Right, so here we are then in the Flame Domain this time. Now, slight difference in the team this time round, okay? In that we have got our Ice Blast heroes in instead of our Frost, but you know, we could swap this around here. So everyone still largely in the same gear. All right. The difference is now instead of who's our 5th? Cinderell, we have Ogok. Now I'm just gonna pop some attack percent gloves on him. Probably the ones on Cinderell. We'll go with that. So Argok's got just Solar King's Horn, no real reason for that. We were quite lucky to get an Enlightenment rune. Can I take that up to 20? I can, so we'll do that. What does it roll? Oh, this is a great piece for a sort of a tanky person, which is what we really need Ogok to be, because his heals are based off Enlightenment. I haven't done Ancient Battlefield yet. But here we go. So we've got a couple of auras we can go for here. Just going to go take the attack one for now. And we're going to let it run on full auto, okay? But as we get to the boss, I'm going to take Ogok himself off of auto, because we need to time his ultimate. Why do we need to time his ultimate? Because essentially he puts immortality up. You might have seen the little skull and crossbones that was above everyone just there. And at the end of that, he will heal. And when he heals, he removes a debuff. And that's the key for this Flame Domain, is getting rid of those burns, okay? Especially if you have multiple melee heroes, because they will just stack up and it's just not fun for anyone, really. So we come through to the final boss just down here. And what I want to do is I want to time Argok to use his just before the second one goes off, so we can actually leave him on auto for this. So everyone's got a burn, they'll get more stacks up to 9, and then it will be cleared. And when that happens, the Flame Domain boss will ult, and as you can see, it hits us for basically nothing. And actually, we might clear it before we need Ogok to do it again. I mean, I'll just leave it on. And there we go. That is stage 5 of the Flame Domain. Again, nice and quick for me, just where I've got lots of people to 98. But, you know, the basic principles remain. We have someone with defense down, we have a tank to absorb the hits, and we've got buff removal. Now, obviously, I'm using teams of legendaries here just because it's what I've leveled on my main account. But you could use a Vikuk, for example. You know, Vikuk is a poison epic who removes debuffs. The important thing is you want to do it ideally. You want to be able to survive the first lot of burn debuffs, and then use Vikuk after the second lock has been placed. Obviously, if you've got a Gulend, you can use Gulend. If you've got, you know, if you're in season 2, you can use Jillian, you can use Asilla, you know, to remove them as well. I'm just avoiding Fire and Radiant, obviously, because they're weak in season 3. So then, lastly, we're going to take a flip over to Tempest, where I don't really use any of these guys. Not Tempest, but Frost, because of the increased damage. So this is where you'll see my second team sort of come into play. Rightio, so then we are in the Frost Domain here now, lastly. Alright, I'm just going to load up their gear, because I know it works, even though it in itself, I haven't got actually any of the legendary pieces on any of them really at the moment. And here we go. We're just going to start the battle. So as you notice, it said that I can deploy more heroes if I want to. I haven't because I don't really have anyone else leveled. I could use Rose. I do have Rose actually. I think leveled up. But she's not needed for me. All right. Now the first wave there, I think's the hardest really, because you've got the guy at the back who can place a stun in that sort of 3-line area, which is why Ardreth is on her own in the middle, and we've got Victor and Thelander on the outside. But regardless of who you use, providing you've done the right things, you found the domains and goblins, as soon as you get to 5-star on anyone really, these become fairly easy. It's just a case of making sure you've got the right things. Now this is probably my least polished for a couple of reasons, so I'm just going to slow it down just so we can see what goes on. So this boss places attack down on everybody. Okay, so again, a cleanser is great, as you can see there, but not, the end of the world. So for me, Ardreth does it when she basic attacks. This is why it's not the cleanest for me. So the trick to this boss is to ideally remove the shields. Okay, if you don't remove the shields, she will place a freeze on you. Now you'll see, I believe I don't actually remove the shields at all here. I don't, and my team gets frozen. Okay. Now Victor does have shield removal, but it's on his battle skill, so I can't actually control it. It's also not scrolled out yet either, so it takes a bit of time to cycle back. But it's not necessarily the end of the world, because I can still clear it, even with. So hopefully, yeah, there you go. So Victor did it there. It lines up perfectly second time around, and we were able to get Thelander's damage straight onto the boss. Attack downs again. Cinerel obviously making my Thelander is sort of immortal, but again, we will find that he will use his ult and it will just go chompy, chompy, chompy on the shield, doing nothing. But that's okay because the shield's gone after and we can still clear it. So it's just not the most polished or fastest run for me. So who else could you use here? So once again, anyone with debuff removal to get rid of the attack downs. Again, like your Jillians, your Acilias, Vikuk you can't use here, unfortunately, because he is the wrong affinity. But anyone like that to get rid of the shield, firstly. Ideally on an ultimate, because then you will save a lot of time. And then secondly, you want shield removal as well, for the same reason. Obviously, you can see I've done it with a 4-man team, all level 90, all 5-star. But obviously 5-man would make it way quicker as long as you've got the bits. So we'll just take a look at some other options in the gallery now. So we're in the gallery now, alright, and we're just selecting Dispel Shields. So obviously your legendary options are at the top here. The hardest one to pull is Kresos. He's not necessarily an exclusive because he doesn't have an exclusive artifact, but he does have the same pull rates as an exclusive would, so less likely to get him. Urion has it on a battle skill, same as Victor, so is serviceable. But you want to avoid it ideally because he is the wrong affinity and he will take increased damage, although he is a tank. You then have Aladia. Aladia is going to be the Season 3 free hero that we can all get, okay? She grants shield on her ultimate and her dispel is on her battle skill. So again, not ideal, but could be an option if you're really stuck. These three are going to be your more attainable heroes. Now, for me, I actually used Shook last season because he has it on his ultimate, so I can control it. Okay, I can decide when I want to use it, and he brings the attack penalty, which is nice. If he removes a shield, he also puts a recharge speed penalty as well to slow them down, and his battle skill has a chance of slowing down the boss. So this guy is a really good option for the Frost Domain boss. You could also use him in Grave of Curse if you want to as well. Yui Cartle, not someone I've ever experienced with personally, but I know it's on her battle skill again and removes a buff. She brings defense up, but not a tremendous amount else. And then you got Brody. So Brody is great because he's got it on his ultimate. His melee, which is a kind of but he also brings defense up, so he's bringing you the survivability as well as the attack penalty on the battle skill. Also, when an enemy obtains a shield, the hero gains shield equal to 50%. So Brody is a solid choice as well. Brody and Shook for that last fight. For Dispel debuff, that's the one. So this one applies to both Flame Domain and Frost, okay? So get rid of the burns or the attack penalties. Now do bear in mind, okay, these are... It doesn't say whether it is group-wide or single target here, okay? So for example, Cinerel I know is only single target, same with Torrin, okay? Rose is a multiple hitter. Same with Ardreth, Gulend, Cilia, Gillian. They move team-wide. Raider I don't actually have. Okay, she dispels everything as well, so could potentially be another option for you. When we come down to epic and rare choices, Furbath, I believe, does it to everyone he heals. When dealing damage to enemies under debuffs, the enemy has 30% chance. Okie dokie, so quite situational on Furbath, but is an option. Vikuk, as I mentioned, dispels 2 debuffs on his ultimate. Great character. Nathaniel will remove a debuff, I believe, when a buff pops off. Whenever a buff expires or is dispelled from any target on the field, he heals on that. So he's on a battle skill, so in a heavy condensed team could be done. Garius does himself, and Goom I don't have because I didn't play season 1. Has it when inflicting a debuff on enemy? Okay, so when he inflicts debuffs, he's going to put attack penalty. Not the best. He's only going to inflict 1 debuff, so let me remove 1 at a time. Hexandra has it on a battle skill, single target. I'm learning a bit here as well. And Enna was the other one I was aware of. And dispels 1 debuff, so she's multi-ride as well. So Enna is a good choice. Vikuk is another cheaper choice. So there we go, guys. So that is a quick look at that today. What else have we got going on right now? Well, we've obviously got our Easter event going on. Hopefully you guys have been doing this and collecting your eggs. And, you know, if you gift them as well to your friends when you complete them. I'm gifting all of mine to a slightly bigger content creator to gift out to the world. We've also got our where was it? Golden Vulture Racing. Now this is cool. Essentially, what we do here is we are picking our team. I'll say our team, the team that we think is going to win. If you guess right, you get 200 worm arrow, which is great, with a total chance to win 2,000 if you were to guess everything right. Now, I've already cast my vote. I firmly believe that the blue team is going to win here. Just the amount of control that they're going to put out on Garius and Thelendor, I don't think that they're going to stand a chance. But who knows? I'm happy to be proven wrong, but that's where I've cast my vote. Obviously, we've got the Goblin Raid challenge on. Obviously, try and do, in my season 3, 1-3 as fast as possible. Varies for other ones, okay? You've got your Cave Raider, so just another reason to be farming your crystals at the moment, just to get some bread and nice little things. Arena challenge I've done, and then you've just got your hard training tournament, which I've personally have not been pushing too hard. You've got people who've using all of their energy, most likely in Venom, because that's where you get the most points through this, but I'm quite happy just saving mine for the time being and trundling along. Now, I will be doing another video shortly on the equipment guides or dungeons, just so you can see what I'm doing there. But thank you for taking the time for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Take it easy, work hard, but remember to play harder, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.